So we're cooking soon.
You're not really gonna film this.
She knows which is the answer, but for everybody else, what's the risk? What kind of sickness can you get eating?
Salmonella.
How do you get salmonella?
Bacteria.
Say again?
Bacteria.
Bacteria, yes. In the salmonella, there is a bacteria which is called E. coli that gives you the salmonella as a sickness. But how do you get this bacteria?
Undercooked.
Undercooked eggs. Does everybody agree with that?
Can you clean the eggs somehow? Or you don't do that?
I don't do that. No, we were going to cook with these eggs like this. But if you say with uncooked eggs, I give you an example. Tiramisu. Tiramisu would be uncooked eggs.
Really?
Because I'm just whisking the eggs with this, but I'm not cooking them. And I will leave everything in the fridge. So basically they would be raw eggs. You get salmonella, the answer is from the shell of the eggs, not uncooked. Unfortunately, I'm telling you from my experience, every single person always makes these mistakes, and they always think that if you drink or if you eat raw eggs, you can get salmonella. Not at all. Absolutely, totally wrong. The salmonella you get from the shell because of, to give you the example, eggs are laid from chicken, so all the excrement are sitting on the shell of the eggs. And of course, the E. coli as a bacteria is contained in the excrement of the chicken. So after being laid, those eggs go through a washing process, and in Italy, as a rule, as a, I don't know, a must, practice, whatever. Yeah. We need to label the eggs because with this, in this way, we will be able to see if they're in free range or in cages, or if they're the expiration date and stuff like that. So by the time you cook with the eggs, please, every single time you touch the eggs, after this, please wash your hands, because otherwise you can transmit those bacteria to other things, which could be meat, poultry, which could be flour if you're making fresh pasta, or anything else. So that's the only risk. And of course, by the time you're whisking and cracking your eggs, we will whisk the eggs in this bowl here, right? Instead of cracking the eggs on the edge of the bowl that little drops of shell can drop inside, please do this thing on separate plates so you don't have the risk of dropping little pieces of shell in it. And those eggs, of course, after being laid, all the other eggs that you can find at the supermarket, you see them, they're totally clean. But of course, after being laid, they're not like this. If you take the egg, as soon as they are laid from a chicken, they're totally dirty. So that means those eggs go through a washing process and the labeling process to be clean. So that's why the risk of getting salmonella is very low. But just in case you guys are leaving or staying in Rome for a little longer and you go...
Sempre così.
And you go...
True.
Are you clumsy?
Yes.
It's funny. I love it.
No, it's true. If I don't fall at least once, it'll be good.
So the eggs that you can find at the fresh markets, at the farmers markets, you go there, they give you eggs not in packages, but usually they're wrapped into newspaper. And you see them because of they're just laid from chicken from the farmers in the morning, so they're totally dirty outside. That kind of eggs, you can run the risk of getting salmonella. That's why, as a good habit in Rome, we have like grandma, they take little kids to the farmers market, they crack and open the eggs, and the little kids drink raw eggs because it gives you a lot of proteins in the morning and it's good for your bones. But usually grandma always holds the eggs and doesn't touch the eggs. I'm sorry. To see if an egg is fresh or not, you take a glass, fill up with water. If the eggs go all the way down that sink, that's very fresh. Otherwise, it starts floating. Why? Because of by the time the eggs get old, the shell of the eggs get very light, and all the air which is containing the eggs inside will start coming out. So the eggs is not as heavy, and it will start floating on top of your glass of water.